Chinese New Year, or Tết, as we call it in Vietnam, is coming up. We are in a moment of transition right now as the year of the snake is coming to an end. We will soon start a new cycle. In Vietnamese culture, we really believe in the symbolism that each year brings. The end of the snake year carries with it the symbol of shedding. You know how snakes shed their skin with each new life cycle, right? You may be noticing the shedding in your own life too. Old questions resurfacing, familiar lessons repeating, growing sense that something needs to change. But here's the truth: nothing changes unless you change. I've had to confront this reality myself. Over the past few years, if I'm honest with you, I haven't been very happy, slightly depressed even. Some of it was due to circumstances beyond my control, but a large part of it was my decision. There's a saying: the universe will keep sending you the same lessons until you learn them. If you're honest with yourself, you may already know the lessons that keep showing up in your life. I reached a point where I realized that if I kept going the way I was going, nothing in my life would change that would make me happier. So it's time for me to change. Whether or not the symbolism is grounded in any truth, I'm choosing to treat the end of the snake year as an intentional moment of transformation, a chance to shed habits and mindsets that no longer serve me. So I sat down and did a hard audit of my life and identify patterns and mindsets that need to go. Chances are you'll recognize yourself in at least one of them. So grab your own cup of tea if you haven't done so already, because it's going to be a long one. Hello, my darlings. Welcome to Tea O'Clock, where we drink tea and talk about life. Today I have with me a Vietnamese lotus tea, which is ready to be poured into my fair cup. So I'm going to do that. It smells absolutely beautiful. And look at this color. So let's get started. Here are the parts of me that need to die for me to grow. 1. Waiting until I feel ready to start. I have a strong perfectionist tendencies. If I wanted to do something, I would always tell myself that I was not ready, I wasn't good enough, I wasn't knowledgeable enough. Feeling ready becomes a convenient way to delay starting. Perfectionism often comes hand in hand with procrastination. Readiness isn't a feeling or a mental state, it's a decision. Take this YouTube channel, for example. I've wanted to do it for years, but only start now. I delayed starting because I needed to feel ready, to feel like I've got enough of things to say, or that I needed to master certain skills first. But now I'm doing it anyway, even if my videos or my content still need improvement. I'm not saying that I'm not putting in my real efforts or not doing my best. I am giving out my best. What I'm giving out is my current state of excellence. Excellence is a moving post, not a destination. 2. The all or nothing mentality. This is closely tied to perfectionism. When I start something, I tend to go all in, obsessively disciplined, extremely strict. I would have intense bursts of discipline followed by intense bursts of burnout. I was either 100% in or 100% out. No middle ground, no room for being human. For example, last summer I wanted to lose fat and build more muscles. So I went into a very strict routine. I followed my diet and workout plan religiously. But the moment I had one unplanned meal or that I missed one workout session, I spiraled. I told myself that I had failed. And once I decided on failure, I would give up completely. One missed gym day turned into a week off. One bad meal turned into a week of binge eating because I had already ruined it anyway. The truth is, one meal or one workout does not make or break the progress, but the all or nothing mentality absolutely does. And that mentality didn't just affect my habits or progress, it also affected how I viewed myself. If I wasn't perfect, then I was a failure. Consistency is really the key to achieving my goal, and it's not about perfection. It's about showing up imperfectly. It's about giving 50% when 100% isn't possible. 3. Not being strict with my boundaries. I used to say things like, oh, so and so didn't respect my boundaries. What I had to learn is this: my boundaries are my responsibility to enforce. For example, I would tell myself that my evenings are for resting, so no phone calls. But then someone would call, and then I would pick up, even though I didn't want to and I was exhausted. Then I would resent them for not respecting my boundaries. But how could they know? I never actually reinforced this boundary for myself. If I say I won't tolerate rudeness and then someone is rude to me, it's my responsibility to either speak up or walk away. If I don't honor my own boundaries, no one else will. Number four, avoiding hard conversations. I used to avoid asking the hard questions, to never challenge the room, to never push back on ideas or things that I disagree with. I wouldn't speak up when something felt off. Why? Because I was scared of the discomfort. I was scared of being seen as too much, too aggressive, too assertive. So I silenced myself. And you know what that got me? Resentment, frustration, a growing sense that my voice didn't matter because I trained myself not to use it. Here's what I'm learning: hard conversations are hard for a reason. They often address a problem that needs solving. Avoiding asking the hard questions doesn't make the problem solving go away. It simply delays it and often make it worse. I'm still deeply uncomfortable with asking the hard questions and being confrontational. I'm not suddenly fearless. The fear is still there, but I'm reframing how I approach these moments. Instead of thinking, I'm going to fight this, I'm going to challenge this, I now think, I want to clarify that. Instead of saying, I completely disagree, I say, can you help me understand how you come up with that? I'm reframing the hard questions as being curious, approaching these from a place of curiosity rather than challenge. It softens the delivery without diluting the message. It invites dialogue instead of defense. There will come a day when I can ask the questions without overthinking it. But for now, this will work, and that's okay. Growth doesn't require perfection, it requires consistently showing up, even when you're scared shitless. Five, mistaking niceness for kindness. Believe me, there's a difference. I used to confuse them all the time. Niceness is about avoiding discomfort, whereas kindness is about honesty. Being nice is saying yes to plans I don't have the energy for and then feeling resentful about it. Whereas being kind is saying no upfront, even if it's awkward, so that no one walks away feeling like they're misunderstood or wasting their time. Being nice is staying quiet when something bothers me for the fear of, because I don't want to upset people. Whereas being kind is saying my thoughts in a respectful manner before resentment has a chance to come up. Niceness is actually people pleasing dressed up as consideration, whereas kindness is respecting myself and the others enough to be real, even when it's uncomfortable. This year, I don't want to prioritize surface level harmony over genuine connection. I want to show up authentically and nurture an authentic connection with the people that I care about. Six, fixed mindset and negative self talk. Things like, I'm not creative, I'm bad with money. These are the negative self talk that I usually tell myself. And more often than not, they become self fulfilling prophecy. Changing from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset looks like this: I'm not creative. I'm not doing creative things yet. That one word yet changes everything. It's very powerful. It shifts from a permanent state to a temporary one, from a personality trait to action, from I am to I haven't yet. I also realized that the more I catch myself saying fixed mindset or negative self talk, the more I am aware of how much they've costed me. The many opportunities I didn't pursue because I wasn't prepared enough, or the many skills I didn't learn because I wasn't that kind of person. I would never be good at it anyway. So why bother? I also caught myself doing negative self talk to what I have already achieved. I used to downplay everything. When someone complimented me on my works, I would brush it off and I would say things like, oh, it's nothing. Oh, like I still have a lot to learn. Oh, it was just luck. I would hit a goal and then move on without celebrating. This year, I'm changing that. I'm celebrating every single small win, not because I'm arrogant, but because recognition breeds success. It's a way to cultivate abundance, to practice gratitude, and to invite more of it to my life. It's a way to signal to myself that I'm capable. Identity isn't fixed. It's about the actions that you repeat and the way to talk to yourself about those actions. Seven, choosing safety over audacity. I have played it safe all my life. Safe dreams, safe career choices. I told myself I was being realistic and pragmatic, but really, I was scared. Fear is a really big theme in my life, you see. I was scared of being humiliated. I was scared of being embarrassed, scared of being cringe. I was scared of wanting something and not getting it. Looking back, I can see how safety became an excuse, a way to avoid fear without admitting it. But nothing worth having in life comes without a risk. The thing is, audacity isn't recklessness. Audacity is calculated risk and daring to ask for more because you know you deserve it. Starting this YouTube channel is me choosing audacity, putting my thoughts and ideas out there for strangers on the internet to see is very terrifying. But I do it anyway because my ideas deserve to be heard. And the only way to overcome my fear is to face it head on. Deep down in my heart, I realize that staying quiet and small and living a life full of regrets are even more terrifying than being judged and being seen as embarrassing. Eight, comparing myself to others. I can't tell you how many times I've scrolled past Instagram or LinkedIn posts and felt awful about myself and my life. Someone's traveling to Bali while I'm sitting at home in my pajamas. Someone getting a job promotion, whereas I just started my journey. I know that people only post their wins, not the chaos behind the scene. But, knowing that doesn't really stop the comparison. It doesn't stop the quiet feeling that I'm falling behind. But the truth is, we're all running different races. So there's no need to pit myself against other. The only person I should be comparing myself to is my past self. Am I growing? Am I learning? Am I more authentic? Am I showing up for myself consistently? That's the only comparison that matters. Now, when I see someone celebrating their win, I would think to myself, I'm happy for you. And I want that for me too. That's also a way to cultivate abundance and gratitude in my life. As the year of the snake is coming to an end, I'm consciously choosing to shed my old skin. What no longer fits must be released. This isn't about becoming a completely different person overnight. It's about small, conscious choices that I make to honor the person that I want to become and the life that I want to build. Change doesn't require feeling ready. It's not about perfection. It's about consistently showing up, messy, imperfect, and honest. So that's what I'm doing this year. If any of this resonated with you, I would love to know. What are you choosing to shed this year? Please leave a comment down below. And if you're also on this journey of becoming, please consider subscribe so that we can all figure it out together. Thank you for being here and sharing this cup of tea with me. Lots of love from me to you.